Hi guys, it's Josh Lloyd here for your NBA DraftKings first look for Thursday in the NBA. We've got a 6-game slate. Hopefully it's not as crazy as the 12 games that we had on Wednesday. Let's look ahead to those games, but before we do, notification bell. Give it a little flicky. Give it a little flick. Give me a thumbs up as well, one of those ones. Drop a comment down below. Subscribe. Let's go. DFS. Phoenix, Boston. Back-to-back for the Suns, taking on the Celtics, but the Celtics have their own injury concerns in this one. It does not look like Jason Tatum, it doesn't look like Jaylen Brown is going to play. He is listed as doubtful. We already know that the Rock DJ Robbie Williams is out, and then Jason Tatum is also listed as questionable. Kemba Walker is probable, so he should be right to go. But Tatum and Brown could both be out, which obviously is not ideal. Marcus Smart does return. While for Phoenix, Jay Crowder barely played on Wednesday with an injury. Cam Johnson started the second half in his place. So does Crowder play in this one? Abdul Nadir almost definitely won't play. I would be looking in Boston, as amazing as this is to say, that there is an opportunity for Jabari Parker to have a decent game. Because Parker, we know he can score, and if Jalen is out, if Tatum is out, Parker's going to have to get some minutes. Are they going to rely on Shemi Ojeleye and Grant Williams to do it? Probably not. I wouldn't say that he's going to be an awesome option, but could he have 17 points, 19 points, 20 points? Maybe. I think Tristan Thompson's all right as well at 4,800. A rock solid sort of cash guy. Well, McCall Bridges at 4,800, and a strong game from him on Wednesday, and after a couple of down ones, the last couple of games have been pretty good for Bridges, and that's a good price. I like Kemba a lot at 74, especially if Jalen and Jason are both out. DeAndre Ayton at 65 struggled a bit against Embiid, but it's against Embiid. Yeah, Tristan Thompson, a very different story. So I do think Ayton at 6,500 can break that 35-point mark, so he is in play for us here as well. Booker, he's not going to have to face the defense of Matisse Thybulle. He's just only going to get slight relief and have Marcus Smart. So is that actually better? I don't know. That's a tough one for him on a back-to-back. I'm not sure I'd go that direction. Tatum's at 10-2, which I think is probably a little bit high, even if he is ready to go. And then you've got guys like Chris Paul at 76, which actually, if it wasn't a back-to-back, I'd be way more interested in that for Chrissy Paul. The second game we look at is one of only two games that does have a spread or total released at this point. That is the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Orlando Magic in Orlando. The Pelicans are 7.5-point favorites here in this one. The total is 225. Decent spread, decent total. Michael Carter-Williams remains out, but Terrence Ross and James Ennis are questionable for Orlando. For the Pelicans, it's still just Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Josh Hart that are sidelined. Cole Anthony's been putting up some really strong numbers. He is at 6,400, but I don't think that precludes us from using him. 39 and 31 in the last two games. Good opportunity for him here. Same with Wendell Carter Jr., who is clearly the better center over Mo Bamba, and he's been getting the minutes that are commensurate to that, averaging 35 over the last 5. Some value in him. I think Chuma Okeke at 57's all right. I wouldn't be getting particularly interested in it. While Brandon Ingram at 87 feels like it's on the high side, and Zion's up at 9.9. Now, that is a lot for Zion Williamson. There's no doubt that's a lot of money. He needs 50 to bring it back, and he can get there. I'm just not sure that it's the greatest investment. I would be looking at Najee Marshall, who's at 4,500 and took minutes away from Eric Bledsoe in the last game. Whether Van Gundy continues to do that, I don't know. But look at this, 34, 45, 38. In 3 of the last 4 games. Yes, there's an 18-point turd in there. But everything else looks great at 5,400. No problems looking at Najee. Wouldn't want to use Gary Harris or RJ Hampton or Lonzo Ball, really. Definitely not Eric Bledsoe. Continuing his shitful season has been the norm for him. The Philadelphia 76ers, they are on a back-to-back. They are taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, and there are a lot of question marks in this game because Toby Harris and Ben Simmons have not played in the last 2 games. And Joel Embiid, it's a back-to-back. You would have to think there is a risk of Embiid not playing. I don't know that for sure, but that could open up a ton of shit here for Philadelphia. Giannis at 10.8. I think that's good for Antetokounmpo. I think there's some really good value in him there at that salary. Harris at 78. Now, if we get Toby playing and Embiid out, that looks really good for Harris. Embiid's at 10.5, and if he does play, I would like it, but obviously there's a massive risk that he doesn't play. In the absence of those blokes, you look at someone like a Danny Green at 5,100 who has shown an ability to elevate his game when players are out. I'd be pretty reticent in using Shake Milton. He's just been dreadful. Like, he has not been good at all. and that's hard to use. While Matisse Thybulle at 3,300, there is some upside in using Thybulle if a couple of these blokes are out, and he's going to get 30 minutes. But the guy I'd be most interested in is Furkan Korkmaz. Now, Korkmaz did hurt himself on Wednesday. He returned to the game. Let's hope there's nothing serious, but he is a guy that can hit some shots and can get some big minutes going. Well, Dwight Howard's at 4,400, and if Embiid is out, Howard would provide us some opportunities there. I don't hate Brook Lopez, but I don't love him. And then you got the 8,200 for Drew Holiday, which looks like a pretty safe floor play, given the way that he has been playing currently. Next game is Detroit and San Antonio. Back-to-back for both of these teams. Detroit, who knows what they do? They have been routinely resting their old guys. Corey Joseph, Mason Plumlee. Someone else that I'm definitely forgetting, Wayne Ellington, another guy that they've been sitting out. And this should be the return of Killian Hayes. So, at center, we look at Alf Stewart at 5,800. Stewie puts up good numbers when Plumlee's out, puts up good numbers when Plumlee plays. But look at that, 50 in 2 of the last 3 games. You have to love this opportunity. I also love the opportunity for Killian Hayes. I don't expect Dennis Smith or Corey Joseph to play, so great chance there for some big numbers. I think DeJounte Murray looks pretty good for the Spurs as well at 7,200, while Pirtle at 59, I imagine he is a strong cash play with some tournament upside. Derek White's at 63, feels a little bit on the high side, as does the 85 for DeMar DeRozan. And I also am interested in Frank Jackson. With Corey Joseph out, or likely out, Dennis Smith likely out, I think Jackson's got 25 to 30 point upside in this one, while the depressed penis Sadiq Bey is always worth a look, especially at 56, and Joshy Jackson at 55 also works pretty well, I think, in this matchup. The Hornets and the Bulls. Sorry, let's try that again. The Hornets and the perpetually disappointing Chicago Bulls. The Hornets are 3-point underdogs somehow. The Bulls 3-point favorites. The total is a minuscule 211 in this one. 211.5 actually. Let's be more accurate. For Charlotte, still going to have the absence of Ball, Hayward, and Monk. I imagine they start PJ Washington Jr. at center. After whatever that Vernon Carey bullshit was last game. Washington's been playing well. I like him. Patty Williams at 4,300. Really hard to get a read on what Williams does on a game-to-game basis because of the weird rotations. And the same goes with Daniel Tice, who's starting and playing 20 minutes as they run a 3-man power forward rotation that includes a center playing at power forward. Nothing makes sense with Billy Donovan. He is actually not a very good coach. I imagine that Garrett Temple will start once more in place of Zach LaVine. Now, he was poor on Wednesday, but this is an opportunity for a 24-25 pointer, and he has done well against Charlotte, averaging 29 the last 3 times against them, while Kobe White at 5,500, I think there's real safety in using Kobe White there. He should get 30 with potential to go a lot higher. Nikola Vucevic up at 10,000 feels too high, while Thad Young is getting under 20 minutes a night, but the Bulls are just saying, hey, let's just screw the fact that you're a defense-only big man and let's run 30+% usage through you in 20 minutes. It makes no sense at all. They're losing games, so sucks shit. But it does make Young marginally interesting at 5,200. I can't buy it, but I am interested. 50. I wish it was 5,400. 8,400 for Terry Rozier. He's playing out of his mind at the moment, and you don't get a better matchup than playing against the Bulls. And 7,700 from Miles Bridges looks all right too. Jalen McDaniels at 56 is probably more a flyer than a must-roster guy. The last game of the night, the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers, back-to-back for Dallas. So does Porzingis play? Does Doncic play? I don't know. I would have to assume no for Porzingis. For the Lakers, Anthony Davis could return. He's officially listed as questionable, along with Marc Gasol, while Markieff Morris, Andre Drummond, and Dennis Schroeder are all probable. Now, if Davis does play, he'll only play 15 minutes. So he's not going to have huge value. It just impacts other blokes. I wouldn't feel particularly good about using guys like Andre Drummond or Montrezl Harrell or Markieff Morris or Kyle Kuzma, to be honest. I don't mind using Dennis Schroeder at 6,800, no LeBron, and he's going to get his usage, he's going to get his assists. And I do think that Doncic probably does play at 11,000, and he's going to have an opportunity to really wreck shit in this one. Porzingis at 9,000, I don't know that he plays. I wouldn't want to use him. They started Dwight Powell over Maxi Kleber, and then Kleber got hurt. So could we have Powell starting with Finney Smith next to him again in this game? I think there's a possibility of that. And Powell is really, really cheap at 3,300. But there are still a lot of unknowns there. Don't write Dwight Powell off. Taylor Horton-Tucker's been dominating, but how do they use him if Davis is back? I love what Horton-Tucker's doing. He's averaging 31 over the last 3. And I think he has value, but I'm just a little bit skeptical about how Vogel will get him out there, because that means Davis is back, means Kuzma plays more at the 3, and that does impact Horton-Tucker and his overall playing time. If we have a look now at the overall slate, Isaiah Stewart at 58 I like, Pat Williams, Daniel Tice, Jabari Parker, Tristan Thompson, Markkanen, Killian Hayes, DeJounte Murray, McCall Bridges, Kobe White, Cole Anthony, Devontae Graham, Kemba Walker, Yanni, Wendell Carter, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Yucca Purtle, PJ Washington Jr., Dennis Schroeder, and maybe Tobias Harris if he is ready to go. It is going to be a weird one. Don't forget to follow this show. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, and follow my channel as well. In the title, in the description, Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.